Hello everyone, this is Tana with Taz's Treasures, and today I have for you the April 2024 Simon Says card kit of the month. And I took it out of the box already. I didn't open the bag, but we have some ultrafine gold embossing powder. We get a mesh bag, and let's see what we get in the bag. Come on, out. Is that everything? That's everything. We have some fine detail scissors. I think these are the same as a pair I already have, which is fine. Can't have too many scissors, right? Put those to the side till I need another pair. Like, ooh, candy. A stamp pad, which is good because my stamp pad came off the base, so I needed another one of these. I probably should throw this one away. I don't know why I haven't. We have a envelope, coupon code. We have some foam squares. Look like a little bit of thick, tiny little white ones. Can always use foam squares. An embossing folder, floating flowers. That's pretty. I wonder if we have some metallic cardstock because of that real pretty embossing folder. Oh man, we have a lot of paper. Let's take a look at that. Single-sided. Oh, that's pretty. Lavenders, lilacs. Same. Lavenders, lilacs. Different. Butterflies. That reminds me of a wallpaper. Like watercolor hearts. What are these? Gold seed packets, I believe. A nice, pretty, it looks like a real light wallpaper. Floral, interesting. Cut aparts. More florals, polka dots. Ooh, little like postage stamps. That'd be fun to cut apart. Which I will. I'll save these for like journaling. That's fun. Use that on whatever. And that brought us back to this page. Favorite, lovely, fierce. We have our stamp, which is wild and free flowers. So we have two florals and then a bunch of sentiments. Real pretty writing. Deepest sympathy, hello sunshine, congrats. Thank you, thinking of you. We have our little inspiration sheet and what comes in the kit. And we get, let's see if I can figure out what this is. This is lavender and doll pink. I want to always call it doll house, but it's doll pink. And Nina White 110. I guess no metallic. That's okay because I have plenty of that myself. So this is this month's kit. And I am really happy to have Simon Says Gold because I don't have any. I have some Brutus Monroe gilded gold embossing powder. So I'm going to have to compare the two and see what the difference is. Anyhow, let's make some cards. Okay, I am going to use my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers here. They're watercolor markers, and what I've done is I've already heat embossed that gold embossing powder with one of the florals and the thank you sentiment and some Canton XL watercolor paper. And I've cut it down already, and I've got a piece of lavender paper off to the side. So we're using a lilac pen, a zig marker, and this is in real time that I am coloring this. Now each petal I kind of color by the base, and then I pull out the color the using the colorless blender. So that's what I'm using. You could use a water brush, but I really like the way the colorless blender works on most of these papers. I find it pulls out the color really nicely. And so that is what I prefer to use. Now you can also use the colorless blender, like if you make a like a boo-boo and go outside the lines, you can use it to try to push back your color. But with the zigs, it also works great just as a water brush. So that's what I'm doing. Now, in order to save time, I went ahead and on all my cards, I kind of went ahead and stamped and embossed and did what I needed to get these cards ready so I could kind of speed up the process. I figure everybody who's watching this is, used to embossing, heat embossing, and that kind of thing. So I just thought I would speed things along by having it already done. So today is Saturday, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get this out today or tomorrow, Sunday. I want to get it done. My daughter and myself are going to go and try to watch the eclipse on Monday. We're really hoping that it's not cloudy where we're going. We're going to Missouri, which is about a 7 hour drive from where I'm at. I think 6 hours. We're going to spend the night in downstate Illinois, and then we're going to drive to Missouri. We've got about an hour drive in the morning, and then we're going to just spend the night in Missouri Monday night and come home Tuesday and try to avoid all the traffic. Of course, if it turns out to be cloudy, I bet traffic's going to be greatly reduced. But ever since the 2017 eclipse that I missed totality of, it's kind of one of the things I really would love to see an eclipse before, you know, kind of on my bucket list, one of those things. I've got a while, but not the funds to travel to some place that has totality anytime soon if I miss this one. So, it should be a good time, though. Either way, I enjoy my daughter's company. Unfortunately, I can't bring my second daughter because she is working Monday, and she doesn't get as much time off. So, I don't know. It's one of those things, you try to be equal with as much time as you spend with your kids, but it's really hard to do that. So I've got these petals almost entirely colored out, and I really love the softness of this lilac color. And I probably should speed this up a bit, except this video is only like 24 minutes long to begin with, which, like I said, it's not a real long video because I cut out me doing a lot of the work on it. And I haven't used my Zig Real brush markers in quite a while. I forget sometimes I think that I have them, and it's just they're not in reach like some of my other markers. Now my Copics aren't in reach either, but I don't know. I use those more, but I think the Zigs give me a more, I don't know if I want to say professional, but they blend out easier, where Copics I'm not as good with coloring with them yet. And I think sometimes the zigs, depending on what paper you're using, don't always blend out as well as they could. They can be a little picky with certain papers. Now I've got this bud that I'm going to try to make a little bit darker because it hasn't opened yet, so I'm assuming that like buds are darker. They usually are when I see them in my flower beds. I'm not quite sure what kind of flower this is. I don't even know if it comes in purple, but we're going to just do it anyway because why not? And we're going to just color these leaves out in a light green, and we're only going to use the two colors on this card, you know, not counting the gold, of course. And we're just going to do light green and the lilac. I could have brought in more colors, but I didn't want to risk, you know, making it look garish by having too many. So got this light green, and it's a real pretty green, I think. And there, I was really surprised that there's only like 3 leaves, so you know, this was done fairly quickly. I've got a dog sleeping on my lap right now as I'm trying to do this voiceover. Um, he's not snoring yet, but you know, don't be too surprised if you start hearing it. And don't be too surprised if all of a sudden you hear barking as he leaps off my lap from a sound sleep because he heard something. You know, I don't know what it is. The dog can be sound asleep, snoring, and he'll hear something that I don't hear, and he's just off my lap and run into the window so he can bark. I mean, and I have been trying my darndest to train these dogs not to bark as much as they do. I have the 2, and anytime I go up there and tell them to be quiet, go up to my front window, they listen, but they don't listen unless I'm right in their face. And I don't know what to do. I'm obviously not a good dog trainer, or they'd already be, you know, be not barking as much. They're both dogs are like 6 years old, and I haven't got it through their thick skulls yet that they don't need to bark at every delivery truck or mailman. One of these days, maybe they'll get tired of doing it. It'll probably be a long time yet. So isn't this a real pretty color green? I just think it's gorgeous. I'm going to pull out that color to the ends, and it just pulls out really, really easily. And it gives us a nice blend where it's darker towards the base of the leaves, and then it just comes out to a real pretty color. Just kind of. So after I kind of look this over and make sure I've got everything pulled out as much as I want to, and I don't want to put any more color down, I'm going to go ahead and I am going to pop this up on some foam tape because it's just a little bit warped from the heat embossing. It's not too bad, but just enough that I'm like, well, why not? We'll give it some dimension because you can't go wrong with a little added dimension. So I've got my foam tape on the back of my card front. And before we tape that down though, we're going to go ahead and we are going to glue our lavender card, our card front, our lavender card stock to the card base. You know, why not? I mean, we could put our thank you card front on the lavender cardstock, but it makes a lot more sense to glue it down to the card base first. I think my dogs are going to start barking, so I might have to pause this and deal with them. I was actually quicker than the dogs were for a change. I did manage to stop the recording and the voiceover before they started barking. I kind of heard the little one up there make a noise, and yep, sure enough, Bruce jumped off my lap and ran up and started barking at the window. So it didn't last long though. So he's back down here again, but he's in the chair instead of on my lap. So hopefully I can finish the rest of this voiceover now. And I don't know if you've watched any of my videos, but if you have, you know I like to write little messages on the back of my cardstock. So, hello friends, please like me. And if you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps the algorithm. You know, I know everybody probably says that on YouTube, and you probably get tired of hearing it, but it does help a bit. And I am just a tiny, tiny, tiny itty bitty channel right now. So I'd like to grow it up to at least 1,000. We're slowly getting there. I don't know what the perks of 1,000 subscribers are. It just seems like a nice round number. I figure once I get to 1,000, I can start doing a few giveaways and whatnot. I've got lots of stuff. So here's a piece of pattern paper that I've got that I'm just gluing on the inside of the card. I think it looks real pretty. It matches pattern paper I use actually in the next card that I do. But somehow it ended up in this card. So, you know, I figured I'd just glue it in here because the colors matched. Why not? So anyhow, let's get this centered on my card base. And I just think that that color flower with the background is just really pretty. Now I thought about putting some sequins or something else on it, but I just think that was a clean and simple card, and so I don't do anything else. Now for this card here, this one, you can see I took some pattern paper and I went ahead and I heat embossed it. And you can see, hi again, I'm writing to you more love notes on the back of my cardstock. And I've got this doll pink cardstock that I'm going to glue onto my card base. I think I've got this cut down to 5 1/4 by 4. So we can have a little bit of a white border going around the card. And you know, this is a really simple card, and I've got some score tape on the back of this because again, this was a little bit warped, and I thought it would sit down flatter with some score tape as opposed to glue. I wanted to make sure that it didn't look kind of off, and I think sometimes with pattern paper, if it gets too warped, it does look a little funny. So I'm going to get this centered right there on my card, and this was a really simple sympathy card. And you know, you don't have to color or do a whole lot when these florals work for you with the gold embossing. And so for this last card, I went ahead and I got some mirrored cardstock out of my stash, and I used the embossing folder on that, and I cut it down to 4 1/4 or 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just going to glue that down. Now I wanted to leave a little bit of a white border around it because we've got the cut apart that has the white and gold on it that I am going to use, and I'm not going to have to do much else. These cards are very simple. I should just call this series either Tina's Lazy Cards or Tina's Simple Cards. Either way, they're very simple, and I think they're all really pretty. I think they all turned out really nice without having to spend a whole lot of time on them. And I think this cut apart in the center here with the sentiment on it just makes a really simple, pretty card. Now I did go ahead and I popped up the sentiment. I could have used the foam tape that came in the kit, but I figured why use that up when I've got plenty of foam tape that I'm trying to get through. I think I've got some Dollar Tree foam tape on the back of this right now because it was a really sticky foam tape. It wasn't the one I used on the first card. So the dogs were quicker than I was this time. They started barking before I could stop this voiceover. But I waited them out and they're done now for the moment. I don't know what they saw out there. So I've got this centered right in the middle there, and I decide that what the heck, I am gonna bring in a few little jewels, whatever you want to call them, a few embellishments. So I've got these little white, or they're actually clear, they're not white, some clear embellishments here. One has got more iridescence than the other, and I'm going to just try to put a few of these on. Now, I was thinking of using some gold pearls, but I thought that might be too much gold. And I'm not really sure if these added anything, but I thought after not having anything on the first two cards, that I would at least try some embellishments on the last card. I said, I don't know that it really added much. You can let me know what you think, but these cards were so simple, but I think they were all really pretty just the same. And so this card is done. And now a quick preview of my cards. Here is card number 1, card number 2, card number 3. So let's get these cards straightened out a bit. I don't know why I've got everything crooked here. So anyhow, that's it for today. Love y'all. Bye-bye for now.